So first, like Chris said, I want to thank you guys for coming out. I did this last year with Anna and a few other people, and it's amazing to see how many more people are here this year. And I just want to congratulate the Josh Anderson Foundation on what they're doing, because it's amazing. They're the one group that I know is reaching so many different schools and communities and people. And so really, I would like everyone to clap for them, because it's amazing. It really is. Because like Chris said, this was not talked about. This is relatively new. And a lot of it started from multiple Fairfax County suicides. And the fact that we just are starting to talk about it after these horrible things have happened already is kind of sad, because there's always been a stigma attached to it. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk about a little bit. So personally for me, when I was talking to my mom about what I should talk about today, because I could go on forever, is that she told me about 5th grade and her experience with it, because I don't really, like a lot of people have said, remember exactly when it started. So in about 5th grade, I went to Spring Hill Elementary in McLean. I've lived here all my life. And I was good until about 5th grade, because my mom told me I was focusing on so many external influences, like why does this boy not like me, and why am I not getting a 6-minute mile in like everybody else is, and so many things that kids worry about that seem like childhood problems that everyone has gone through. So we just kind of chalked it up to self-esteem issues, or kind of that awkward phase that people go through. So we didn't really think much about it, but personally I kind of remember middle school as the start of when I knew something was not right. After 5th grade, instead of going on to 6th grade at Spring Hill, my parents decided to switch me to a private school in Fairfax, and I definitely fought it. I thought, why are they doing this to me? You know, my younger brother eventually didn't go, and I was confused on why they were singling me out. Why do I have to move? And I now realize from talking to them, it's because my grades were getting lower, I was feeling terrible about myself, and I needed to pull myself away from that to really focus on the things that are really important. So I went there, and we wore uniforms, and we had a set schedule, and it was a very hard school, but that experience was stressful, definitely, but important for me, because it kind of, like I said, got me away from everything so I could really put things in perspective. My 8th grade year, instead of going on to that school, I walked to my parents and I said, I want to go to Langley High School. I said, there are no sports here at this private school. I want to get involved socially, and I just want to go. All the cool kids are going to the public schools, and so my parents were completely against it. But I pushed and pushed and pushed, and my final reason for going was because I was at a point in my life where I was secure enough that I could be in that environment again, and my ultimate goal was to make a difference at the school. I was pretty good, 9th grade, 10th grade. I was kind of just going through the motions, like Chris said, the grayness. I never really had highs, I never really had lows. I kind of was just going through it, and when I talked to people about my childhood, I said, it was good. There was nothing special about it. So about this year, I'm a senior at Langley High School, maybe sophomore, junior year, I had a panic attack. I had no idea what was going on. It's kind of like, if you don't know what a panic attack is, the way I experienced it, it's kind of like a 3-year-old having a fit on the ground. That's kind of what it's like. You're kind of rolling around, or you can't breathe, and people experience it differently, but that was my experience. Something was not right, and what kind of triggered it was something completely silly that I don't even remember. But all I knew is that I felt alone, and I felt confused, and I didn't even know what was going on. And that was scary for my parents, because they had never seen anything like that, and I'm sure for a lot of parents who have, children and teens that are like this, they don't know how to deal with it, and my parents are still learning. But for me now, it's kind of the support that I get from them. They, like I said, they still don't know, but what they did was they kept pushing me to get, therapy and doing everything. They were throwing things at me like, do this, how can we help you? but I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know how I was supposed to help myself. And so that was hard for me because I isolated myself. And one thing that was interesting that is similar between Chris and I is that I always came off as this put-together person. Even when I went into therapy, my therapist said, "You seem like really put together. That doesn't seem like, at first that you were very, messed up, I guess." But as we went on, I realized, that was kind of a facade I was putting off because I was embarrassed, and I didn't want people to learn about what I was going with because I thought I was alone. And I think that's a huge thing, is even if we're talking about it, it's about relating to other people. And I guess I thought I was kind of illegitimate because I never turned to substances, which a lot of people do, but I didn't. I was just having panic attacks, I was lashing out at my parents, and I was fine at school. I was fine with my friends, with my teachers. I was, the perfect student, the perfect kid, and never had any problems. But at home, it was completely different. So I think if you're talking about your friends or people you think might be going through something, it's about reaching out to them and just making them know that you're there for them, and that if they need something, that you will always be there. Because I never went to my parents until I was about 17 or 18, because I thought, there's nothing wrong with me. It's a phase, like I'm just going through it. But there's definitely a difference between going through a phase and really having a problem. So I don't take any medication because I did not want that to be something that changed me, and I still have so much to learn about it, but that's definitely something that can help a lot of people. So it's kind of just thinking about what specifically helps each person. And it really is a different experience for everyone else. And I guess what I'm here to say is, my anxiety, like I said, it's up one day and down another. And so going off to college next year, it's very scary for me because I want to make sure that I'm going to be okay. But knowing that I have the support from other people and being able to talk about this, which is amazing, it's a breakthrough, is so, so important. So instead of staying here and listening, I challenge all of you to go out and to, even if you don't think someone has something wrong, is just telling them you love them and being there for someone, because you have no idea who's suffering, but there are people all around you that are. So I guess it's not giving up and just kind of encouraging each other. And I'm so honored to have been here and to talk to you guys. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Anna. You didn't talk about the Miss Northern Virginia pageant.
So really quick, last year, my junior year, I knew I wanted to get involved somehow in mental health awareness. So I did my first beauty pageant, and it's through the Miss America organization where you have a platform. And so that's how I actually found Lauren last year for the summit. Is she saw me in the newspaper that I was promoting mental health awareness, and she contacted me, and that really gave me kind of a purpose in life, I guess you could say. And so this weekend I'm doing one more that is the higher level, just so I can hopefully get it out and kind of help the movement.
Thank you so much.